I always harbored intense desires for my stepfather, yearning for him to handle me in the roughest way possible. That became reality when he caught me changing clothes. Life had been fairly straightforward before it was just me and her. But when she introduced me to Ryan, my new stepfather, everything changed in unimaginable ways. Initially, I didn't give him much thought. He was just another man in the house, polite, distant, and always respectful of boundaries. He was older, but there was something about his quiet confidence and mysterious aura that attracted people to him. I didn't give it much thought. I wasn't actively seeking anything. But one day, everything shifted. It was late afternoon, and I had just returned from a long day at work, craving a shower to rinse off the day's heat. Mom was out with her friends, leaving just Ryan and me at home. I didn't think twice about it because we had shared the house countless times before. However, this time felt different for some reason. There was a charged atmosphere, an unspoken tension that hung in the air. In my room, the quiet was only interrupted by the gentle hum of the air conditioner as I began changing my clothes. I had removed my work outfit, now standing in just my underwear, when I suddenly heard footsteps right outside my door. My heart skipped a beat. I hadn't locked it. Why hadn't I locked the door? But I stayed still, almost paralyzed. Then it happened. The door slowly creaked open, and there he was, standing in the doorway, his eyes locking with mine. Neither of us moved. I didn't cover myself. I couldn't. Something within me refused to. Ryan stood there, his gaze drifting over my body in a way that sent shivers through my skin. He said nothing, but his eyes spoke volumes. There was a hunger in them, a desire I had never noticed before. I knew I should have said something, pushed him out, and closed the door, but instead I remained where I was, allowing him to take in the view. Finally, he broke the silence, his voice low and husky. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." His words faded, though there was no regret in his tone. My pulse raced, my breathing shallow, as I turned slightly toward him, almost as if encouraging him to stay. "It's fine," I whispered, my voice so quiet it surprised me. I didn't want him to go. In fact, I longed for him to stay, for him to do more than just look. He hesitated, but only for a moment, before stepping inside and closing the door behind him. His presence was overwhelming, and I could feel every part of my body react to him. He moved toward me slowly, as if offering me a chance to stop him, to say no, but I didn't. I couldn't. Ryan reached out, his hand grazing my arm lightly. His touch sent a jolt through me, and I leaned into it, wanting more. He drew even closer, his breath warm on my skin, and the tension between us grew with every second. My mind raced, but my body responded uncontrollably. I wanted this. I wanted him. "Are you sure?" he asked, his voice thick with desire, his fingers brushing against my bare skin. I nodded, biting my lip as I looked up at him through my lashes. "Yes," I breathed, my voice quiet but full of longing. The attraction between us was undeniable now for both of us. His hands moved to my waist, pulling me closer, and I could feel the heat coming from his body. His touch was both gentle and firm, as if he had been waiting for this moment forever. I wrapped my arms around his neck, pulling him closer, and our lips finally met, soft at first but quickly deepening as the passion between us flared. Every kiss felt like fire, his hands exploring my body in ways that made me weak. I clung to him, pressing myself against him, unable to get enough. Time seemed to slow as we became lost in each other, every touch, every kiss, and every breath drawing us deeper into this forbidden moment. He lifted me gently, placing me on the bed, hovering above me, his eyes locked on mine with a gaze that sent a thrill through me. His fingers traced down my neck and along my collarbone, pausing just above my underwear's waistband, giving me one last chance to stop. But I didn't want to. I wanted him more than anything. "Please," I whispered, arching my back slightly, pressing against him. "Don't stop." That was all the encouragement he needed. His hands moved lower, slipping beneath the fabric, and I gasped at the sensation of his fingers on my bare skin. He was tender, savoring every moment, every touch. The tension inside me grew, every nerve in my body on fire, as he explored me with his hands, his lips leaving a trail of kisses down my neck and chest until I trembled beneath him. The room was filled with our heavy breathing, our whispered words of need and desire. He took his time, drawing out every second, heightening every sensation until I was on the verge of losing control. And then, just as I thought I couldn't bear it any longer, he stopped, pulling back slightly to meet my eyes, dark with lust. "You're so beautiful," he murmured, his hand cradling my face as he kissed me softly, almost tenderly. "I've wanted you for so long." I couldn't believe what I was hearing, but in that moment it didn't matter. All I craved was him and the way he made me feel. I pulled him closer, pressing my lips to his in a deep kiss, telling him without words that I felt the same. Our bodies moved in perfect sync, every touch and kiss flooding me with waves of pleasure. The intensity was overpowering, and I felt myself losing control, giving in completely to him and the moment. Just as the climax was about to crash over me, he paused again, teasing, delaying what was inevitable. He smiled against my skin, fully aware of what he was doing, and I groaned in frustration, begging him to continue. "Not yet," he murmured, his voice low and filled with promise. "I want this to last." He took his time, savoring every second, making sure I felt each touch, every kiss, until I trembled with anticipation, teetering on the edge of losing myself entirely. When the moment finally came, it was more powerful than anything I had ever known, a wave of pleasure that washed over me, leaving me breathless and spent. Afterward, he held me, his arms wrapped around me as we lay there, our bodies still intertwined. I could feel his heartbeat steady and calm against mine, and I realized everything had shifted between us. This wasn't just a fleeting encounter, it was something deeper, something real. We didn't speak, there was no need. The connection between us was stronger than words could ever convey. As we lay there, I knew this was only the beginning of something neither of us could deny, something we both wanted. His lips trailed down my neck, leaving a path of burning heat on my skin, the sensation intoxicating, each kiss sending a spark of pleasure through me. His breathing quickened, matching mine as our bodies pressed closer. His hands, firm yet gentle, moved over every inch of me, exploring, teasing, making me ache with desire. I gasped as his fingers tangled in my hair, pulling me into another deep, passionate kiss that left me breathless. Our tongues danced together, and the taste of him only made me want him more. My body responded instinctively, arching toward him, desperate for every touch, every caress. Time blurred as we got lost in each other, our hands roaming, lips locked, the heat between us growing almost unbearable. His touch became more urgent, more insistent, and so did mine, pulling him closer, needing to feel all of him. I could feel the desire between us intensifying, our breaths coming in ragged, heavy gasps as we surrendered to the moment. The world outside faded away, leaving only the feeling of his skin on mine, his mouth exploring mine, his body pressed against me, overwhelming me with the raw passion of it all. Neither of us wanted it to end. It was pure, unrestrained passion, and we both clung to it.